Have you ever been at a crossroad where you wonder to yourself, is it worth the money doing this? Well, I have good news for you because I'm going to address that right now in episode 107 of the Books by Josh Audio Immersion titled Follow the Money? Question mark. Let's begin. What do I mean? Well, is it worth the money? Have you ever thought, should I go into this field of study to do this as a career? But is it worth the time and effort? Or should I take this promotion with the new responsibility for the money? Do I really want to? That's what I meant. But and the reason I bring this up is with my books. I talk about how I just write what I want to write. And the reason I do that is because I have ideas. I can easily mark and research, hey, what's the top books in this category? What's the tropes that they talk about? Oh, what's the description? Let me write a description like that. Let me do a book in that. It's not fun for me. When I create for me because these are the books that I don't see being created and I want to create them. And I want to read them back to myself and say, hey, wow, this was a good book. So that's why I create. Instead of market researching, hey, what's the best selling books to this demographic, age 30 to 35, single woman, whatever. So the real reason I want to do this is because I've been in this position many times before other than writing. And one of the ways was when I worked for a small business as basically running this whole business while the owners were away. And they sold the business. And the problem was the people they sold it to had a franchise next town over. And it wasn't the best practices. Let me just say that. The things they were doing to their customers was kind of not on the up and up. They weren't telling the whole truth, what the customer was actually getting when they were getting something free. And I didn't really vibe with that. So at that point in time, I didn't follow the money because I could have gotten paid more than what I was making because they wanted to keep me on. Because I knew the customer base in the area, everyone knew me, but I didn't want to work for someone that I wasn't able to sleep at night. Because that's not the type of person that I am. So I walked away from that. And a lot of people out there are hungry for money. And with a sales background, you have to hit numbers. And sometimes people choose to use methods that, like I say, aren't on the up and up. When I did sales, I made sure to disclose everything, not to lie to customers because it's my name. Even on the phones, they would never see me, but it's still my name attached to it. And I take that very seriously because when they call back and say, hey, this person told me this, and they can pull these calls because they're recorded. You don't want to get in a situation that you didn't say the right thing. And as you could probably tell, I have a little bit of a list, things like that. So when I talk numbers, I say it out loud. So if it's 137, I'll say 137.00.45 or whatever it is. That way, there's no issues with it. So when you do sales, you're often asked to sell products you don't believe in. So one of the companies I worked for had a product category that in the beginning, when the price point was good and it brought value to the customers, I sold them. I made a lot of money selling that product category because of the way the commission plan was. The problem is, once that product category, the price exceeded the value, and there's better value outside with less caveats and less restrictions, I sold barely any unless the person asked for it. Was it smart? No, because it took money out of my pocket, but I wasn't selling a product I didn't believe in. And I made up for the money with my other sales. So it's not always good to follow the money. But the thing about the world is it's not black or white. There's gray areas. So I'm not going to say don't always follow the money. Sometimes you have to follow the money to accomplish your dreams. What do I mean by that? I don't like sales. Let's be honest. I've been in sales so long that I don't appreciate it. Having to hit quotas every month, the deadlines, just dealing with customers like that all the time, it gets tiring. So with sales, the good thing about sales is you can make money. You can make a lot of money. You can make a little bit of money. All depends on how good you are at sales. So I'm not saying turn down a sales job because you don't want to sell or it might not be the best option persuading people. But if you have bills to pay, I'm not telling you not to jump on a fishing boat, stuff like that. It's your own risk tolerance, but sometimes you have to use it to build up that safety net, to build up money so that in case something happens, you have an emergency fund. You start, especially if you're young, you want to have some income coming in, you want to invest money. So if you find yourself in a position that, hey, you can make decent amount of money for your age group in a certain field, go for it, but don't lose who you are. Don't let it control you. I know a lot of people, when they're younger, they start these jobs and they're working nonstop, trying to put a name for themselves, working 60, 80-hour work weeks. I've been there. In one point in my long career path, I worked security and I was doing 16-hour shifts. I remember it was Thanksgiving one day to Black Friday. I just worked 16 hours and the person who was said to relieve me, guess what? They didn't come until 2 hours later because they were hungover. And I didn't get paid for it because you're not allowed to work over 16 hours. So I sat there for over 2 hours waiting. So I put in the hours with you. But you have to understand, it's not really worth it at the end of the day because you're going to burn yourself out. You work all these long hours, 60, 80-hour work weeks. You can do it for a few months, but when it becomes every single month, there's a problem because guess what? On your off days, you're exhausted. You're not going to be able to pursue anything else you want to do. Not saying go get a side hustle, things like that, but maybe you want to take a course and learn a language or a cooking class, stuff like that. You're not going to have the time. And time is one of the most valuable assets we have. So, like I said, you can follow the money if the money is not the end all. You know, you want to have a goal. Say, hey, I don't like the company I'm at, but it's paying the bills right now. I want to find something better. Let me go back to school. Let me get these certifications, whatever. Do that. But have an end goal. Say, hey, I don't want to be in this job all my life. So let me try to set a goal for 2 years from now to have this much saved up so I can start looking into another field or whatever. That's what I'm saying. The reason I'm saying that is because there's been points in my lifetime that I was like that. Saying, oh man, I hate where I work. I'm exhausted. I'm tired of it. And I did nothing because I just complained about it. Most of us, you know, after work, we just hang out or whatever, relax, and we complain about how much we hate our jobs. If you love your job, that's great. This ain't for you. But we complain about it, but we don't do anything with it. So that's what I'm saying. Follow the money, is paying your bills. Don't make any major moves right away, but make small moves. Like they said, Rome wasn't built in a day. So you have to keep at it each day. You have to show up. After your shift or whatever, learn the new skill you want to do. Or if you want to get out of debt, budget your money and make sure you're paying it down. Figure out what method. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not a financial advisor. You want to make sure you do that in increments. That way you have less reliability. You're not relying as much on this job. Because guess what? Things happen. Look at all the layoffs we had in the past 2 years. The job market's horrible now. So you never know. So you don't want to be 100% reliant on that job or that field because fields have dried up. And that's the problem. So we have to constantly be evolving. So let's go back to, like I said, about market research, stuff like that. You might want to start a side hustle, right? You might have heard, hey, you can make this much money doing drop shipping. You can make this much money doing day trading. You can do this, you can do that. Buy my course. I'm not saying all of the course sellers are bad. I'm not saying all of the course sellers are good. There could be some good ones, there could be some bad ones. Do your research before you do anything. But if you're getting into something, don't jump into a certain category of side hustle, side business, whatever that you have no passion for. You might be able to make some money. You might not be able to make some money. Warren Buffett says he loves going to work. That's why he still works in his old age. But if you're jumping into doing something just because you saw on TikTok, like these pickles or the new pineapple Hawaiian Kool-Aid things, because you can make money. Hey, you can make a couple dollars doing that. But eventually, it might not be there because right now that's the trend going on. And guess what? You're buying these products, it's going viral. Eventually, you'll see Kool-Aid partner up with a pineapple company and do it themselves at a cheaper price because they have the purchasing power to do it at scale. So they get things cheaper. So you can jump on the trend, just don't let it be your only way to follow the money. Like, it's like dieting and weight loss. There's all these trends over the years, and people do them, jump off it, jump on another one. It's the same with money. We all heard get rich quick schemes. I've been in network marketing. I've tried drop shipping. I've tried buying products from AliExpress and going business to business to sell them. I did sell some. So it's not like I didn't make money doing it. But the thing is, just because you heard of the idea from someone and they tell you, hey, it's making this much, then it could be, but if it was really making that much money, would they really be showing you how much money it's making? I've recently worked consulting on advertising with business owners to increase revenue, stuff like that. And working with them, I got to talk actual metrics with businesses to see what was working and what wasn't. And a lot of these businesses that were advertising, and they would tell me about other platforms they're advertising on, talk about real conversations, 20, 30-minute conversations with them, finding out how to better help them. It shows you some insight. And these businesses that make money don't really have that market trend. Hey, look how easy it is. No, it takes some hard work. There's a channel I watch on YouTube where the guy tries out different business opportunities just to see if it's viable. His recent one, he did carpet cleaning and rug cleaning. He showed how much it costs for the equipment, buying used, buying the wrong stuff, advertising and organic. And guess what? He made some money, and doing it as a full-time job would earn him a profit. So those are the jobs you can find if you want to do like a side hustle. You can do like mobile detailing if you live in a certain area. You could do cleaning services, things like that. So there is markets to do side hustle. Just don't follow it for the wrong reason. If you're the type of person who loves cleaning cars, do it. If you love cleaning, do it. But don't get into something because guess what? There's going to be a day that you're exhausted and you don't want to do it. But you have bills to pay and you're like, why did I even start this? The money's not that great. Same with day trading and stuff like that. You might join day trading and make a couple dollars but then lose. But you got in for the wrong reason. You like saw this dream lifestyle, traveling, working, few hours, things like that. No, that's what I'm saying. Don't follow the money. Follow your heart. And that's the purpose of this real episode, honestly. Because money's nice, but it doesn't solve all the problems. It makes some of the problems smaller, but it's not going to make you happy. And a lot of times we equate money to a lifestyle. We see all the Instagram posts and flexes. We see jewelry. We see the cars, the mansions. Growing up in the 2000s, I saw MTV Cribs. And guess what? Almost all those houses are rented because the upkeep is insane for those properties. It makes no sense to have them. So stop trying to keep up with the Joneses and just worry about yourself. Follow the money until you hit your goal and then live the life you want. That's why things like the FIRE movement are a thing, because they follow the money, they worked in those high stressful jobs, saved up their money, so now they can live life on their terms. That's why I just want to bring to your attention. And that's it for this episode of the Books by Josh audio immersion. Did you learn? Let me know. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.